Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlin Perkins and Jim Fowler. In the early days of filming wildlife, as you'll see tonight, researchers had to capture animals in order to observe and learn from them. But that's no longer the case today. Modern technology such as drones and satellite tracking offer new ways to study animals in their natural habitat with less intrusion from human touch. Wild Kingdom set the gold standard for nature programming and introduced generations of young people to the wonders of the natural world. Fortunately, the successful research that began with our original series helped many animals make a comeback from the threat of extinction. And that's good news for the Wild Kingdom. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom right here on RFD-TV.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is presented by Mutual of Omaha, people you can count on.
Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Of all the world's wildlife areas, I think one of the most fascinating is here in Western Asia, in the arid desert country of Iran. It's a remote, seldom seen part of the world, and many animals are found there. The camel is native to Iran, and so are the sure-footed ibex and the Ural sheep, found in the foothills bordering the desert areas. These animals are all still fairly plentiful, but today, this animal, the onager, faces the threat of extinction, even though the government protects it fully. The problem is that growing herds of domestic goats have moved onto the onager's desert range. With these animals competing for the scarce food and water, the onager's survival is challenged. So the Department of Environmental Conservation has undertaken a project designed to move the onager from its home range here in the Turan Desert and transport them to a region where vegetation is more plentiful. I was invited to take part in this operation, and I joined several members of the capture team in Tehran. From here, we flew out over the desert, heading for the base camp. As we enter the onager's range, we'll keep watch for herds below. I'm flying with the leader of this operation, Colonel Ghanehi, and Dr. Fred Harrington, an American advisor to the Iranian government. We are just passing over the desert village of Biarjman. Crops are growing here, even though the nearest water source is in those distant mountains. The water is brought here through a delivery system clearly visible from the air. It's called a kanat, a seemingly endless series of holes dug into the sand and connected underground, making a single tunnel that carries water under the sand from mountains to village. Beyond Biarjman, the desert is once again an arid wilderness. It seems hostile country, but even from the air you begin to see occasional signs of life. Tracks below lead to a group of camels, still and stately as the desert itself. There, to our right, an onager herd. They're running from the sound of our plane as we begin our landing descent. Camp is at the edge of the tiny village of Delbar. Population, 8. The rest of the team is already here, and when we join them, final preparations for our first capture attempt should be underway. We'll set down on a flat stretch of sand below. For operation in country like this, Fred Harrington can use special flaps and controls that allow the plane to land or take off in a very short distance. It's a feature that makes the entire desert a potential runway. The onagers we sighted from the air weren't far away, and if they stay in the area, our chances of capture should be good today. This plane won't be on the ground long. It will work closely with the capture cars once the operation begins. If we do capture any onagers today, they'll be marked so that wildlife biologists can study the movements of these animals. This will let them gather information that may prove helpful in preserving the endangered onager. Colonel Ghanai's team has worked out a very effective identification system. Each captured animal will be marked before release with a numbered and color-coded tag. The tag is designed so we can attach it to the onager's ear, where it will be highly visible and where it won't cause discomfort to the animals. Near the edge of the campsite, a goat herd is returning to the village. There are many herds in the region, and their herdsmen claim the best grazing areas. They come here because just ahead their goats can find both food and water. The water comes here from the mountains through another canot system. And as these domestic animals gather at the few available sources of water, the onagers must chance survival in the most arid parts of this country. The herdsmen have stocked this stream, and it's a strange sight to see fish swimming in the desert. But we're looking for onagers today, and these foothills bordering the desert will be a good vantage point to search for the herd we saw as we flew in. No sign of the herd, but the mountains ahead are alive with movement. The champion climbers of mountain animals, the ibex. Even from a distance, the sweep of those great horns is impressive. The ibex live in these high rocks year-round, surviving where few other animals could. The long ridged horns mark the male. The females have much smaller horns, and like the males, they are superb climbers. The climbing ability of the ibex seems almost incredible. It's fascinating to watch them, but the capture team is almost ready to roll, and the onager herd should be somewhere ahead where the mountains and foothills give way to desert. There's a solitary silhouette on some high ground, a urial sheep. They're common here, favoring the lower foothills at the desert's edge. He may have spotted me, but I'm too far away to really concern him. That large prominent neck ruff is a distinctive feature of the urials. Still no sign of onagers, but there is another herd of camels. There are a few wild camels in the desert, and these are probably domestic animals allowed to wander free. It wasn't far from here that we saw the onagers from the air. There's what we're looking for, onagers, grazing in some rough scrub country. It's a fair-sized herd, and it will be a challenge chasing them in that broken terrain. The capture team should be almost ready, and we will soon know if our capture system will work as we've planned it. I was lucky to have sighted some onagers grazing in the rough country not far from camp. When I returned, I found the capture team was ready to go. The capture system is simple and direct. We'll chase the onagers in these cars, And then, if we can draw close enough, reach out with this pole and place the rope loop over the running animal's head. That's the job of Chief Catcher Gamal Ghazi. The entire operation will be coordinated by Colonel Ghani, communicating by radio from the plane overhead. Much depends on the driver's skill, because once the chase begins, the capture cars will work together as a team, maneuvering in close quarters at high speed. Everything's ready, and it's time to get started. I'll ride in the lead car and relay the radio directions sent from the plane by Colonel Ghani. The caravan will head for the last known location of the Onager herd. There are 4 vehicles in all. The 2 chase cars lead, followed by a car carrying the biologists, and finally a truck to transport captured animals to their new range. Colonel Ghani will fly with the biologists, Fred Harrington and Brian O'Regan. When the vehicles begin approaching the Onager herd, the alert animals will probably see us coming far in the distance. So to bring the animals near enough for capture, the plane will play a dual role in the chase today. The first job is to pinpoint the herd's location from the air and direct the capture cars to it. Then the plane will attempt to bring the animals and the cars together in the open desert by chasing the onagers toward the approaching vehicles. The system seems well planned, and we'll soon test it on the sands of the Turan Desert. The first job from the air is to note the location of both onagers and the capture cars. Then the challenge is to bring them together. With the animals so close to camp, they should be in sight of the plane shortly. The plane is sweeping low, turning the running herd back toward us. Colonel Ghani radios that the onagers are moving in our direction. The plane has done its job well. Colonel Ghani has brought the herd to our capture cars. This is a straggler we've cut off from the herd. Despite the long chase by plane, the onager shows no sign of slowing. It's leading us into rougher country. It's going to be difficult staying with the onager in this rugged terrain. These are tireless and agile runners, and our only chance is to maneuver the animal between the 2 cars, forcing it within range of the capture noose. We lose ground on those turns because we can't react quickly enough in this rough country. Good, he's between us again and almost within range. He's lost us again with that sudden turn. The animal's stamina is amazing. He hasn't slowed since the chase began. There's no use in chasing this animal anymore. He'll run miles before tiring, and he can outmaneuver us easily in this terrain. The plane is moving back over the herd, and Colonel Ghani gives the signal to move into the flat country, where we can use our cars to better advantage. We had missed our first onager. Now we followed the herd until they reached an area of flat terrain that would let our trucks operate more freely. We'll stand by here until we receive a signal to begin the chase. The plane is sending word that they're ready to start the drive. The idea is for Fred Harrington to bring the plane in low, approaching the herd from the rough country, so that when they near the onagers, they'll run out onto the desert flatland. The plan is working, and Colonel Ghani's radio message signals the capture cars to move out and intercept the running onagers. Two animals have separated from the herd. Now the plane is dropping lower as Colonel Ghani attempts to drive the onagers closer to our captured car. The onagers are out in the open now, on flat desert terrain where our car is much more maneuverable. We should be able to stay with them. This takes great balance and quick reaction from the catcher. These last few feet are the most difficult. The onager seems to have a sixth sense about the noose's location. Here in this flatland, we have a definite advantage with the car. When he veers away, we can react instantly. The rope's on, and we'll bring him to a gentle stop. Colonel Ghani will radio our position to the transport truck as he lands near the capture site. The first job is to get the animal off his feet so he can't kick us or injure himself struggling. Now to tie the legs securely so we can work with the animal. He seems suddenly very calm now that the struggle is over. I'm impressed with the planning of this operation. Even a pillow to keep the sand out of the animal's eyes. The capture team has done its work well. Fred Harrington's flying and Colonel Ghani's radio coordination of ground and air teams helped make this capture system a success. Now it's time for the biologist to take over. One of the major objectives of this project is to learn more about the onagers in hopes of preserving this endangered species. We'll take some important data from this captured animal before it's relocated from this desert to its new range. This is a fine, healthy animal, and it won't be on the ground long. The transport truck is arriving, and it's time we began taking our information. One vital statistic is the onager's overall length, and biologist Fred Harrington takes this measurement. All of the animals captured in this project will be measured, and the statistics that Brian O'Regan compiles in his data book will become the raw materials for much future study. The animal's age can be estimated by inspecting its teeth. Comparisons of this animal's growth and general condition today and in the future are important. That's one reason tags will be used, so that individual onagers can be identified later. The tags carry numbers, and they're also coated with bright colors. The color combination will let scientists identify this animal when the numbers aren't visible in the distance. When we release the onager, he'll carry a yellow tag in his left ear, and Brian notes this carefully along with the tag number. A red tag will go into the right ear, and no other onager will wear this same combination. It will belong to this animal alone, like a name. The tags are in, and our work with this animal is finished. He still seems quite calm. In fact, he looks almost comfortable on that pillow. But there are many more onagers out in the desert, and we're ready for another capture attempt. We'll head back for the herd using the plane to find the animals. While we search, Colonel Ghani will remain here to oversee the safe loading of the captured onager into a specially designed transport crate. This is a major undertaking by a far-sighted government, but it's worth the effort because it may be the onager's only hope for survival. Before long, we'll be ready again to begin the chase of the onager. The onager we caught and tagged was on the ground for only a few minutes. As we set out on another capture attempt, the transport crew quickly loaded the onager into a specially designed crate. Once aboard the truck, the animal was on its way to its new home. Before long, the onager was joined by many others. They were active and healthy as they were released in a region with ample vegetation and water. The onager now has a much improved chance for survival because of the enlightened programs of Iran's Department of Environmental Conservation. Their efforts help prove that with careful planning, we can preserve the living natural resources that are ours in the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha, people you can count on, has presented Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha, helping people find Medicare solutions for over 50 years. To learn more about plan options or how to protect your kingdom, contact us today.
Mutual of Omaha. Protect your kingdom.